Hey, welcome back to another episode from Life for Living Well. My name is Richard, and I will be the anchor for us this week. Before I dive into the topic that I have for this week, I quickly like to say if you like to sign up to our weekly article, and if you'd like to know one or two things that we are doing, the book that we review or read, or the event that we have, or the training that we're working on, you can find all this on our website at www.lifeforlivingwell.com. If you also would like to send questions or requests regarding any of the topics that are being handled through this platform, you can also contact me through the contact me form on our website, and just drop me a line, and I'm sure I will get back to you as soon as possible. So let's get started. So I'm working on something of collating some of the questions that come through and trying to answer some of them if I could on the podcast at one time. I don't know when and how we're going to do that, but just to throw it out there that some of the question comes that I think it might benefit more people if I throw those questions open and then try to answer it. If you also like to watch the video of this podcast, you can also see it on the YouTube channel. So you can just search at Life for Living Well on YouTube, and then you will see some of our video clips that are similar to the podcast that we have. If you kind of person like the visual side of the podcast, so let's dive into it. So this week the topic that I have is what I call, what are the signs that you are more successful than you think? Lots of us struggle to really define what a success is. We kind of go with the society definition of success, or our friend definition of success, or definition of success that we have ascertained as a child or when growing up. But these things is actually fluid, and is also, for my understanding, for what I've observed, the environment, the culture also have influence on what they define as success. Some culture define that you only being successful if you never have a debt. Another culture and environment actually encourage that you can use your debt to build a wealth and pay off your debt. So different definitions. So I'm hoping that by the time I get to the bottom of this topic, I will be able to show you that you already successful. It might not be in terms of money or material wealth, but I can also show you that you're on the path to your success, or you're already there, and just how big it is. So if you look into your fingers, they are not in the same size, the same round, so they rest above each other. And in one area, one street, even when you're straight, if you put everybody together and check their bank account, I can guarantee you that there will be variety of different assets in that, or money in that account. So the same thing with success. So I wanted to use this article to just shows you that you are already successful, even though if you don't know it. So what are the signs that you should look out for to show you that, oh, I've actually done this, this is where I am right now, so I am successful. It doesn't mean that you need to relax or rely on your laurel. It just means to motivate you, to encourage you that whatever you are doing to get you there, just continue to do it, or find a way to expand it. So that is the purpose of this article. It's not to just sit down and say, yes, now that is it. So let's dive into it. Like we normally do, we start with the one inspirational individual and use their word to open the whole podcast. So this day I'm taking from Walt Disney word. So what does it say about this? All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. So this is the man that turned his dream to success. And if he talk about success, he definitely know what he's talking about. And he struggled like me and you, but he knocked so many doors. Eventually, opportunity opened one of those doors. But in society that we live, we only just focus on that alone. We don't appreciate the hard work that the individual put in to make that happen. So every successful business individual, if you spend time, if you know them, they have a count of failures that they can also narrate to you. But sometimes it's not something that people spend time to wanted to know. So different people would define success for different reasons due to the influence of their environment. What are those environments? Things like culture and their perceptions. And where the perception comes from, it comes from so many different areas. It can come from the TV, it can come from social media, it can come from the book you read, it can even come from the story that you had from your great uncles or your grandpa or your dad or your mom or even your friend, the story that somebody told them and the thing that they say and they watch. And this all thing comes together, become our own perceptions of what is success. Many believe that material acquisition, such as money and possessions, or the types of cars that you drive, defines your success. In today's society, in my view, if you look at celebrity magazines, even watch TV, or you decide to browse social media, or engage in conversation with your inner circle, one thing you will find out that often more emphasis is on material wealth. That's how they define success. Indeed, our material possession can signify the success we have attained. However, not everyone who is successful feel the need to display it through physical possessions. In reality, success itself is relative. So, what you consider success for you or your environment, your culture, might not consider a success in another environment or culture. But everyone can pay attention to the tiny micro progress and appreciate their journey and achievement. So this is where this article and podcast is pointing to, that let's stop, let's take a break, let's look at the thing that we're already successful at, and then let's celebrate that. Let's continue to work more on that, and so that it becomes bigger success eventually. Often we don't stop to catch our breath and may get lost in the moment. Abraham Maslow talked about the 5 hierarchies of human needs, and the first 2 stand out for me. And every time I have the opportunity to travel, and if I move from one environment to another environment, the massive disparity between this environment sometimes is not really, it just opened my eyes and I begin to look deeper into what is going on. And it's so remarkable when you're able to place yourself in 2 different places at different time, and you can just bring Abraham Maslow hierarchy of needs into the tables, and you ask yourself, how does he impact an individual living in this environment? And how does he impact an individual that living in that other environment? And you can see the massive difference. You can so say massive difference. And then this is what sometimes when we define success, we mix those two things all the time. So Abraham Maslow talked about 5 hierarchies of human needs, and the first 2 stand out. How? So the needs are mostly determined by where you live in the world. If you live in a society that is rich, well planned, well thoughtful, have long-term visions, even for the children or for the people that they haven't born yet, they have already micromanaged the resources in the land, in the water, in the air, in the sky, in the cloud, and also the knowledge, the people that live it, they're already managing how everything is supposed to be. For generation you go there, you see how beautiful it is, how organized it is. And you go to the environment that is so chaos and there's lack of control and everything is in excess, that they have supply more than the demand that they need, and everybody's just struggling. And you realize that this is where the first 2 of Abraham Maslow principles should apply. But those who apply it, they don't even have the concept of Abraham Maslow principle, talk less of apply it to their society. And you say that is the individual, because so if the government in the one group of people, which is smaller in terms of the world population, government provide that first 2 for them, and they individual now build on top of that to build the level 3 to level 4 to level 5 for themselves. And then you go to another part of the world where 1/3 of the population of the world lives, and you say that it's individual still struggle on level 1 of Abraham Maslow principle. And these are the people that they have to compete on the same resources in the world. So ask yourself, which of these 2 groups have more advantage to be more successful in whatever they lay their hand on? So I'm going to leave that for you to answer that question. So these 2 groups have to compete for world resources. So which group has the advantage? I will leave the answer for you to figure out. So in this podcast, emphasis was placed on success that we may not pay attention to because we are conditioned to view success in a certain way. Here are a few things that suggest you are already successful. So let's look at the thing that if you're already doing this, or you are in this state or stage in your life right now, you should consider yourself success. Number 1, accountability. What do you mean? What do I mean by accountability? Consider yourself successful if you are already taking steps toward your growth, taking responsibility, and setting and achieving goals. You no longer blame your parents, government, politicians, boss, employee, spouse, children, or friend for all troubles. You are able to see the role you play, your contributions and behaviors that may sabotage your progress, and you take steps to change them. So this stage is an individual that evolved from the place of being a victim of everything. This position is a position where you no longer blame the job if you don't really enjoy it. You look at, okay, what skills do you lack? And you take your time while you're doing the job you don't like to develop yourself. Whether you have to go to evening classes, or you have to buy books and read the books and study the book, or you have to hire a coach. You have to do something to radically upskill yourself, and then you can change that job that you are not really enjoying to try something. Whether you want to start your own business and you have a lot of responsibility on your shoulder, whether you build your children, and the last thing you want to do is to plug everybody into that. So you beginning to do your own side hustle at home or after you finish your day work and spend extra 3 or 4 hours on top of it every day. And suddenly you have a breakthrough. So these are the state of accountability. And many people are already in this state, but because they haven't seen the kind of result that they want to see, so they didn't know that they're already successful. They are. So, and this is the thing that you should remind yourself. If you are not in this stage, work toward getting to this stage. Become accountable for what happened in your life, how you react to it. So, number 2, marketable skills. So, you develop skills like similar to what I just said. You upskill yourself. You have skills that the businesses want, relating to human being, connected to other interpersonal skills. You work to develop these skills. You refreshing your skills. You have something to provide, to add to the table. You have skills that can solve problems. The more problem you're able to solve in the business world, the more return you get in terms of maybe money, maybe status, maybe opportunity for more open door. So there's no shortcut to it. Think of solving problems. Develop the skills that are necessary for that. And different skills will acquire different rewards. Some skills will acquire more reward. If you are an astronaut, the kind of reward you will attract is different from a car mechanic. And if you are a surgeon, the kind of reward you will attract is different for someone that uploading load from the lorry. So you get what I'm trying to say. I'm not downplaying any role, but I'm saying that the more the difficult complexity the problem you can solve, the more chances you can attract bigger rewards. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not the length of the hours you've done on that work, it's the quality of the length of the hour that you've done. I just turn it around what Abraham Lincoln said about the quality of life. Number 3 is financial management. So you manage your finances and set your priorities right. Financial education has become your personal responsibility. You know how to make money, keep it, and even make it grow. You have several sources to continue re-educating yourself about money and growth through relevant books, seminars, and podcasts, even video blogs. So this is also important because many of us or all of us are not taught in school about money. Even in family, you are parent or adult that don't have a clue about the money. So they earn the money, but how the money goes, where they spend it on, they lost control of it completely. But if you get to a stage in your life right now, because of one thing or the other, you have a tight hand on what you spend, what you earn, and how you grow it. You already not because of you are anxious or nervous, but you are doing it from the place of confidence and having given yourself a peace of mind, and also reduce the anxiety about money in your life. Is educating yourself about it, managing it in a way that is not destructive to other part of your life. Because when you are no longer worried about the money, you're able to put your head in more creativity stuff. So that leads me to the next one, is goal-oriented. So you have goals and are actively working toward achieving them. Your goals are specific, measurable, and you hold yourself accountable for them. So that also linked to number 1 that I mentioned earlier. You often achieve the goals you set for yourself, and people around you admire you for it. So if you're already in this stage in your life, you're already success. So you can define a short-term goal and long-term goal, and you continue to work until you achieve those goals. And then people around you begin to admire you for that. Some people will come I want to be your friend. Some people want to hear from you how you manage to do it. So that takes me again to another point, is inner peace. You have a calmer internal and external appearance and voice because of your contentment and prioritization of well-being and healthy living. Some people lose it all due to lack of contentment, which make them impatient and lead them to take unethical and illegal actions, resulting in loss of everything they have achieved. So, according to P.S. Buck, many people lose the small joys in the hope for big happiness. So don't fall into that trap. You see someone that have already a millionaire, and there's nothing wrong to have ambition or a desire to become a billionaire. It is how you done it that can't. So they become impatient. So that's why we have the news of inside job of people trade off the stock. They know the stock gonna go into the market next day, but because they are in the part of the board, so they have that same information, and they release this information to their close cycle, and they bought a lot of stock so that they can have a competitive advantage over others. In America, in most Western world, this is a criminal offense. And in any other part of the world, when you're trying to manipulate in stock exchange this way, this is a real crime and financial crime, and it can put you into trouble easily. And you can also lose everything you own, because by the time you came back from the prison, hardly you find a person in the right mind that want to work with you, because you're already damaged, you're already stained. You have to find a way to go and start your life again somewhere. So what I'm trying to say is that don't let your ambition run ahead of you. And if you already achieved something and you want to grow it, nothing wrong with that, but do it in a way that is ethical. So, and that's the thing I could suggest to that, because you've seen a lot of guys that they are already successful in the domination of a lot of people, but because of their desire to earn more, they become impatient and they throw everything that they earn, they work for, they throw it away. So don't fall into that trap. So lastly, resilience. You can rise again even when setback hits you hard. So that's what you should remind yourself. So finally, as I'm bringing this to the end, remember, these are a few things you should be aware of, and that should encourage you on your life journey. If you can identify with any of these points mentioned above, you are successful, even if you don't realize it yet. I hope this podcast helps someone. Until we meet again, please stay safe. Ciao.